Well, welcome everybody. This is such a wonderful gathering. The Institute started in 1984. And I think I've been there. I didn't come the first year. I've been there though for all the years, beginning of the second year, that's 35 years. And there are so many wonderful friends I've made because of this. And like a lot of you, what better friends could you have than people like Jack and Linda and Kathy? They have been the essential ingredient of our creating this community cake. And I've always felt every year, I spent an awful lot of time going to conferences. And yet this is the best of all. This is the Village Well for me. Once a year, I get to come to the Village Well and be refreshed. So many memories of wisdom and celebration and joy. I know many of you have been here to experience that as well. And memories are very important. There's a wonderful philosopher who is also on the side, a comedian. His name is David Chappelle. And I recently heard him say, when people die, it's like a great library burning down. They knew so much. And if they live on, it will be in the memories of the people who knew them. So our memories are great libraries of many, many lives. And I'd like to remember 3 lives that I think will help get us started with basic principles of the good life that we seek. Now, I'm pretty old and I don't see very well, but I have senior moments. And so rather than trying to talk off the cuff, because this is such a wonderful group, I've taken the liberty of writing down what I would like to share. And what I would like to share is the memories of 3 people who are gone, but their lives are a big part of the libraries of my life, and I know a lot of you. The first person, let's remember, is Marsha Forest. She was a founder of the Summer Institute. And Marsha was just overflowing with life. The word I think of is vivacious. And the dictionary says that vivacious means, among other things, jazzy. And she was the jazziest person that I've ever known. More energy than I could begin to keep up with. But Marsha had a motto to guide us through these days ahead. And it was, all means all. Not some of us, not many of us, but all of us. And for Marsha, things weren't real or just or fair or joyful until the gang's all here. Now, why is all so important? I think the reason is because we all have unique gifts, different gifts. And therefore, to be complete in any way, we have to have them all in order to be creative and the best that we can be. And it takes a serious effort if we're to come together, because there are so many people who are on the edge or who are on the outside. Now, I had a great friend named Jerry Miller. He was a professor at Ohio State University and was chosen to become the director of the juvenile reformatories in Massachusetts. He did everything possible to reform his institutions, but the young people were still incredibly damaged by the experience, no matter what reform he tried. And after 3 years, Jerry decided that the worst thing that could possibly be done to those young people would be to put them in a reformatory. And therefore, if they were going to be reformed, they'd have to get out. And he's a legend because he took all the kids in 7 reformatories in Massachusetts and led them out, right? Incidentally, if you're interested in the story, he wrote about this in a book with a wonderful title, Last One Over the Wall. You might want to read it, Jerry Miller. At any rate, when he closed the first institution, he told me there were 8 cottages, and the 8th cottage, cottage 8, had the kids who were labeled worst, who were the most dangerous, they thought, or the most destructive. And Jerry said, I decided that that's where I would start. That he would bring these young people into the community first. Those who were labeled the worst came out first. And when I asked him why, he said, because with people they call the worst, if it worked, then the other cottages were easy and all downhill. So the way to get them all out was to reach to the extreme edge first and allow the community to discover the gifts of these kids and follow the community as a supporter. So if all means all, our focus should always be on enabling those furthest out of the community. Last one, close, turn off the lights. Another reason for all is because we need everybody's gift, especially people who've been kept out. And you know why we need them? Because we're having a party. And a party is a place of hospitality, celebration, fun, a place whose memory is filled with the wisdom of Marsha Forest. A second person we can remember and add to the library of our lives is Judith Snow, another founder of the Summer Institute. Now, some people thought that Judith lived in a wheelchair. That's nonsense. She lived in the lives of the thousands of people who came into her presence. And her motto was that the most important thing for me is to be present. Where should I be? Where you are. Because If I am not present, I will not be able to see your incredible gifts. I must be present if you are to see mine and if we are to share them. And if I am present, our friendship can grow, and then we can create a wonderful vision together. We can create a wonderful vision. So open the window and let's fly to our vision together. And when we get there, we won't have to worry about walking or chairs because we can then go anywhere. But this can never happen unless I am present. I spent a lot of time with Judith, and I never told her this, but I'll share it with you. I kept hearing this music behind me whenever I was with her. And finally, I realized that it was Tony Bennett singing "Come Fly With Me," the theme song of her life. And now we're flying on the wings of our memories of her. Finally, we can remember Pat Wirth. Pat ran away from an institution when he was a teen. And in the beginning, he slept on park benches, but he finally found his way into community. And when I met him, he contacted me because he knew that I had been a neighborhood organizer. And he said, I want to be an organizer. So I arranged for him to come to Chicago for a week to get training to be a neighborhood organizer. And after that experience, he decided that he wanted to organize people who had been excluded so that they could act powerfully in their own way, in their own behalf, in their own words. And he asked me to join him as he went across Canada and organized these people who had been so often excluded, and labels like developmentally disabled. And so we went from Canadian city to Canadian city, organizing new groups of people who then could speak for themselves. And when we had finished, I remember Pat saying to me, now, John, you can see that it's not disability that we suffer. We suffer disconnection. The problem with our disconnection is it doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for the community. And so that's why we have to be connected and mutually share our gifts. You know, the most powerful force within us is the desire to give. And society has generally recognized that, so that if people want to give more than anything else, then the greatest punishment you could inflict on somebody is to prohibit them from giving their gifts. And we have institutionalized that, a place where you get food, where you get shelter, where you're dressed, but you can't give your gift. The name of it is prison. So if we recognize that the worst thing we can do is to deny your giving of your gift, then the most important thing is that we connect people so that their gift can be given. Now, there's a memorial dimension, a moral dimension to being able to give your gift. Because in the Bible, it says it is more blessed to give than to receive. So in a charitable world that wants to give to the lessers, the people who get the blessing aren't the lessers, it's the givers. So the connections that we mean by inclusion are those connections that say those who have been denied the opportunity to give their gifts will now come among us, right? So what Pat understood was that you have to be connected so you can have the joy of giving your gift and be blessed at the same time. So 3 memories, 3 great books on the shelves of our lives. All means all. We must be present. We must be connected. These are the great memories Marsha, Judith, and Pat have given us. And now they're in the library of our lives. And you know, each of these books ends with the same words. And the last line is always, "Come fly with me. Come fly with me." So open the window. Let's go. And look down there. Let's go there. It's, the Toronto Summer Institute. What a joy. Welcome.